So I just wanted to bring something to you guys' attention. At the end of the day, people cannot deny this. They can't ignore it because now I have the receipts, I have the patterns, I have the names, I have the dates, and I'm going to present this to you guys. At the end of the day, for years, I had to be, subdued to attacks, my blackness being questioned, my character being questioned, people calling me a sellout, a coon, and all that kind of stuff, which I'm the furthest thing from a coon. But at the end of the day, as black people, it do come a time where we have to hold our own accountable. At the end of the day, we expect people that don't look like us to do us dirty. We should expect it. Even if they do right by us, we should never let our guards down because for the most part, a lot of times it's always interior motive. But at the same time, when it's somebody that look like us, shouldn't we be even more disappointed? But at the same time, we tend to, you know, overlook at the same time when somebody else is doing us dirty. But then when somebody that look like us is doing us dirty, we don't never want to forget. But it's a two-way street because I feel at the same time, it always seems to always circle back around to having this conversation about who's the real enemy. Is it people that don't look like us, or is it people that look like us that's been conditioned by people that don't look like us to basically program these people to basically commit unthinkable and horrendous acts upon us? But I just had to put that out there. But I want to present this to you guys as far as Al Heyman go. And shout out to my guy Quest X. He put out an excellent video breaking this down. Now, I've been saying this about Al Heyman for years. I started to see the light in Al Heyman back in 2019 when I was told back in 2019 that a potential fight between Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence wasn't going to happen for years, or if ever, if it can be avoided by the PBC and particularly Al Heyman. And I was told this by the sanctioning bodies. And I tried to warn everybody about this. But then, of course, I got hit with that. You need to stay on code and you cooning for top rank and match room. But I say this once again. Um, at the same time, I'm gonna say this again. I don't have no problems getting into matchroom or top rank events. The people that I expect to get into any and every event should be the company that's ran by somebody that looks like me and have melanin like me. But no, they put up the most resistance. And then a lot of their fighters put up resistance and dog media out that look like them for media that don't look like them. You've seen this forever. It's an ongoing thing. But videos like this, you know, I'm finna present the evidence to you. So we could talk about this amongst ourselves. Now, any PBC apologists come on here talking out the side of their neck, moderators, get rid of them with the quickness. I'm not doing this tonight. You're gonna hear it and you're gonna listen to it. Now, if you look at basically what I put as far as the avatar goes, uh, what's in the what's in the description box of this video. I wanted to present evidence and give you these names and show you that there's a pattern with this and prove my point what I've been saying about Al Heyman, that he don't, for the most part, have his black fighters' best interests in hand and at hand. If you go against Al Heyman for the most part, or you challenge him or you don't listen to him one way or another, he tries to retaliate against you. And this is why I be saying that one dude shouldn't control somebody's entire destiny and have complete control of their career. At the end of the day, you just got to keep it a buck. Um, Al Heyman, and then based off this new deal with Steven Espinosa, they really are skating on the borderline of the Muhammad Ali Act. But I know how he gets around it. But I ain't gonna speak on it because I don't want it to come across as dry snitching. But you guys have this alignment and allegiance to a dude that don't give a damn about you guys or people from his community. Now, I'm really bothered by what happened with Deontay Wilder yesterday. I'm just really bothered by it. But at the end of the day, I was scratching my head and I was thinking to myself, well, out of all the people to fight after a year on hiatus, he picked Joseph Parker, a seasoned veteran. And I was thinking to myself, this isn't probably going to go very well, but I didn't want to put no videos out. Y'all know for the most part, I don't do, prediction videos. But Deontay Wilder, going into that fight, he had been out of the ring for over a year some change. And then I'm going to bring something else also to y'all attention. Then you look at Steve Fulton, who got demolished by the Monster, back in July. It had been a year since he had last been in the ring. Then you look at Gary Russell Jr. Gary Russell Jr. hasn't fought since January of 2022. And then before that, he hadn't fought in like 2 years. Then you look at Errol Spence Jr., who got demolished by Terrence Crawford. He hadn't been in the ring in over a year, which by the way, at the end of the day, I would have picked Terrence Crawford to win the fight no matter what. I always thought and knew that Terrence Crawford would beat Errol Spence if they fought. So I just presented at least 4 boxers who going into fights had been out of the ring over a year or at least a year. We all know there was issues with Deontay Wilder and Al Heyman. But due to the fact that Al Heyman allegedly makes fighters sign NDAs to where they can't really go in on him. And keep in mind, just on a side note, Regis Prograis once called Al Heyman out about not getting him fights, which he had to apologize because he allegedly was in violation of the NDA. Al Heyman is a control freak. And then once again, I'm finna present something else to you. Once again, the PBC continues this losing streak with fighters not aligned with the PBC or didn't originally sign with the PBC. Joseph Parker is not a PBC fighter. Tyson Fury wasn't a PBC fighter. Terrence Crawford originally wasn't a PBC fighter. Ngannou, the Monster, is not a PBC fighter. This is why Al Heyman is reluctant to. Excuse me. This is why Al Heyman is reluctant to do outside promotional fights, because the proof is in the pudding. Why does this keep happening? Why does the PBC continue to have a losing record versus non-PBC fighters or fighters that originally wasn't with the PBC? Explain that to me. Please explain that to me. Help me understand that. But once again, I bring this stuff up. I'm presenting you guys with the evidence. I'm presenting you guys with the dates. As you guys say, receipts. I have the receipts. So how can you guys talk your way out of this? Is it I know it's a coincidence. No, that's what happens. Once again, Steve Fulton tweeted a little while ago saying he don't know when he gonna fight again. Because one, he went against Al Heyman because Al Heyman, that's what he do. He try to talk his fighters out of other fights and cross promotional fights. He did not want Steve Fulton to take the Ngannou fight. But what was Steve Fulton supposed to do? He was supposed to pass up on his highest payday ever. Then miraculously, Frank Martin got talked out of his highest payday versus Shakur Stevenson, even though they replaced it with another PBC fighter and Dos Santos. But keep in mind, Frank Martin is kind of considered one of their active dudes that they want to kind of maneuver and keep active, basically to use basically as a, in-house fight, potentially against Tank. When Tank get tired, or when Tank run out of these Mexicans and Hispanics to basically beat up. And this is why, based off this, I don't think Devin Haney and Tank is going to happen anytime soon, because Al Haymon can't afford to have another PBC fighter fight basically on another network and lose. So at the end of the day, he has to protect his interests. And right now, Tank is his biggest fighter, not named Canelo Alvarez, which they only have Canelo for 2 more fights. But Tank is a PBC grown fighter, where Canelo is sort of like a guest. Terrence Crawford is sort of like a guest. They're not what you would call PBC fighters. And Terrence Crawford also said that he is a promotional free agent. He said he really could go fight elsewhere. That's according to him. Where Tank, not so, you know what I'm saying, not so fast. And then Deontay Wilder finally got from under the thumb of Al Haymon. Once again, was inactive for a year, finally got another fight. And then basically he takes the beating for 12 rounds in a lopsided loss. And don't get me wrong, I got mad love for Wilder. Salute to the dude. Now the question is, with Wilder, should Wilder continue to fight? He says that he'll be back. Me, myself, I feel Wilder has nothing to prove. I feel Wilder can easily call it a career and just move on and just wait for the call till he gets voted into the Boxing Hall of Fame, because Wilder will be in the Hall of Fame. I think Wilder's went as far as he could go fighting that way. And then you look and see at, the age of 38, is there anything Wilder can do different? Yeah, he said his timing was off. Yeah, of course it was off. For the most part, you hadn't fought in a year. So what you expect? And once again, coming into January, it'll be 2 years since we seen Gary Russell Jr. Gary Russell Jr. is healthy. I know he's working with his brother, who I think his brother is a good, solid, up-and-coming fighter. He's training his brother. But him himself, he's not fighting. And I mean, Gary Russell Jr. is 35 years old. I mean, he still got some fights left in him, but at the end of the day, when you start reaching your late 30s and stuff, you got to start thinking about retirement or how many fights you got left. And then based off the fact Gary Russell Jr. has not fought in over pretty much 2 years, I mean, who you could put Gary Russell Jr. in the ring with? I think if he had some fights, I don't think he would have lost to Mark Masayu. But he hadn't fought since 2020. And we all know 2020 was awkward. We all know it was awkward. We all know what happened. We all know what happened in 2020. So still, it was, a lot of stuff was going on. But 2021, when stuff started to open back up, no fights. 2022, no fights. 2023, no fights for Gary Russell Jr. Gary Russell Jr. is healthy. Once again, Deontay Wilder was healthy. Errol Spence was healthy. Fulton got stopped, but I think he still could have got another fight in. Watch these guys getting put on the shelves. Oh, I know why. Because they challenge anybody that challenges Al Heyman, they get put on the shelf. You know? But like I said before, people gonna get mad at me. I'm gonna get called a sellout. I'm gonna get called a coon and all this kind of stuff, which I don't give a damn because at the end of the day, we really need to have this discussion on who the real coon is in this situation. I didn't talk to people behind the scenes about this particular situation. Some people agree with me, more people agree with me than disagree with me. But at the end of the day, a lot of people make excuses for Al Heyman, and I'm supposed to have this allegiance to a guy that I see dog out people that look like him and basically put them on the back burner for primarily Hispanic and particularly Mexican fighters. Keep in mind, Leo Santa Cruz named one of his children after Al Heyman. So what does that tell you? For years, Gary Russell Jr. was asking for a fight with Leo Santa Cruz, but he saved him for Tank to build up Tank's stature. Now, it's unfortunate what's going on with Tank and what happened in his old neighborhood, but I wish him the best. But I'm just talking about, in particularly, Tank fighting somebody like Devin Haney. At the end of the day, Al Heyman feel like he got enough fighters to basically perpetrate a fraud and put in the ring with Tank to keep this questionable charade going with Tank and his resume and who he fights. Say what you want to say about Lomachenko, whether you think Lomachenko beat Devin Haney or not, which he didn't. Well, Tank didn't immediately challenge Lomachenko, and I'm gonna say this again. Lomachenko had to sit for the rest of the year because Devin Haney busted him up. He busted him up, and he messed up his ribs allegedly. That's why Lomachenko never took a fight, didn't take a fight for the rest of this year. And he told Bob Arum that he was done for the rest of the year. And now he's going to fight George Kambosos Jr. in Australia sometime in the first quarter of 2024. So Devin Haney did some kind of damage to Lomachenko. But like I said before, I present this evidence to you guys. I present evidence. I present a pattern. I present history. And somehow, some way, you guys still are in denial about what's blatantly being done right before your eyes. And I've said this on many occasions. So now I presented the receipts. What's your excuse going to be now about the PBC? So PBC once again continues their losing streak against non-PBC fighters. Then not to mention the fighters that I mentioned, they haven't fought in over a year. Or hadn't fought in at least a year. Errol Spence going into the fight with Terrence Crawford had been out of the ring for a year. No reason why he shouldn't have took a tune-up. Once again, Steve Fulton, before he got demolished by the Monster, hadn't been in the ring in a year. Wilder hadn't been in the ring in a year. Gary Russell Jr. hasn't been in the ring in almost 2 years. Regis Prograis had to sign with another promotional company because he wasn't getting fights like he should have. He consistently wanted to get fights with the PBC, but for some reason they couldn't find fights for him. And then when he called Al Heyman out, like a couple of hours later, he had to issue an apology because allegedly he was in violation of the NDA. I'm feeding this information to you guys. It's not because I have this, vendetta against Al Heyman and the PBC, but at the end of the day, I don't like how they've treated me, and I don't like how they've treated other hardworking black media. But then, like I said, once again, you so-called pro-black Negroes always pumping your fist. Well, your black fist goes up and down. 1 minute you pump it up high in the air, then sometimes you pump it just a little bit over your shoulders. Then sometimes you pump it. You know what I'm saying, with your fist down. So you inconsistent with that. You got to be all in with this stuff. So I just laugh at the fact that people have this blind allegiance towards Al Heyman. Is laughable and it's laughable. How long is you guys gonna continue to deny the truth when it's pointed and when it's right before your eyes? How long is y'all gonna run from it? How long is y'all gonna make excuses? How many more excuses you gonna make? Like I said, once again, they do not. Their motto is anybody but the brother. They do not like making black versus black fights. Boy, when I think about that movie, The Great White Hype, that was made many moons ago, was it was it basically a video, a movie indicating what was going to happen in years to come? Well, that movie seemed to have became a reality when Samuel L. Jackson said people are tired of paying good money to see niggas beat up on niggas. And basically, he put together a fight, and kind of like the game plan, how it worked is kind of relevant to what's going on now. At the end of the day, they got people to believe this white dude who knocked the guy out in the amateurs was going to basically beat this dude who was a heavyweight champion, and this other dude hadn't fought in basically ages, who basically never went pro. And I guess his first professional fight, they actually thought he was going to win, which was illogical. But the way they promoted it, they vilified, keep in mind, they vilified the black dude and heroized the white dude. Story of America, huh? And then everybody was rooting against this black dude. Like he said, what was his record, James the Grim Reaper Roper, 38-0 with 38 knockouts? Don't that sound familiar? Don't that sound familiar? And then all of a sudden, everybody turned against this black fighter, James the Grim Reaper Roper, for a white fighter just because he was white. People were placing bets on the dude and all that kind of stuff. So that movie is kind of it kind of make you think, was this movie like predicted what was going to happen? Because this is almost what you seeing is almost identical to what you seeing. Not exactly, but then you started to see it with the Triple G's, and you know what I'm saying? And then Floyd Mayweather had to become a villain to get people to buy into him and buy his fights and all that stuff. And I think Floyd just set an all-around bad example for fighters, and black fighters in particularly, him and Al Haymon. You know, Floyd, at the end of the day, you could make an argument Floyd might have didn't have the confidence versus other black fighters that he had against these carefully picked Hispanic, primarily Mexican fighters. I think there were two fighters that surprised Floyd. That was Miguel Cotto and Maidana. I think they surprised Floyd a little bit. On how good they could fight him. But you have to ask this question, why did Floyd go out of his way not to fight black fighters? And then in between 2010 and 2016, which was Floyd's last actual professional fight versus an actual boxer in a professional match, Andre Berto. Once again, Floyd had only fought two black American born fighters. Berto, Sugar Shane Mosley. You can make the argument Sugar Shane Mosley was a little bit over the hill. I think Sugar Shane Mosley was 37-38 when Floyd fought him. Berto, by the time Floyd got around to him, Berto, it took some losses. Berto, once again, Berto had, you know what I'm saying, Berto had been in some tough fights. You just have to tell the truth. So this was the game plan. And Floyd did very well. He made anywhere, approximately, they said that Floyd made anywhere from possibly 500 million to possibly $1 billion. It's a mystery what Floyd is worth. It's a mystery what Al Haymon is worth. But at the end of the day, I just keep it a buck. When it comes to this, I'm passionate about it, and I'm just gonna tell it how I see it. And ain't nobody gonna tell me different. There's other stuff that I'll listen to, but when it comes to this, I don't like it. And I know Al Haymon got a game plan. I know, like, technically, for the most part, he figured he don't have to match Devin Haney up against Tank, because he feel like he have a list or a stable of fighters he could keep putting Tank in the ring with. But what happens when Tank keep beating up these dudes? And then people go say, hey, we want to see Tank versus fighters that's not PBC fighters. Eventually, they going to have to revisit the Devin Haney situation if Devin Haney continues to win and dominate and look the way he looks. And at the end of the day, what was disappointing was to have, Leonard Ellaby hating, because Leonard Ellaby always does that. He always tries to tear down black fighters. He's been tearing down Devin Haney for years. He been tearing Devin. Leonard Ellaby always do that stuff. You ask him, what you think of Devin Haney's performance? Instead of talking about, oh man, I heard he sold like only 6,000 tickets. See, the play and the fix has been in. Downplay anything Devin Haney does because once again, they don't believe in black versus black fighters. You would expect this out of white people, but these are black people doing this. Al Haymon, Floyd Mayweather, Leonard Ellaby. Like I said, Leonard Ellaby, what he started to do is perpetrate a lie. And then Leonard Ellaby, and I'm not saying no names. I'm not trying to out anybody. I'm not trying to dry snitch on anybody. But Leonard Ellaby have people that he communicate with. That's he's in cahoots with. And at the end of the day, we all know who. I'm not gonna say that dude's name. We all know who put up those BS numbers about the fight doing 50,000 pay-per-views. Who said he heard from a credible source? Like I said, once again, that dude is a liar. You ain't got no credible source. You just made those numbers up because at the end of the day, you know that Bill and Debit has ties to the LDBC. So that was just basically a shot at the LDBC, and a lot of dudes root for fighters that's, give a lot of access to the LDBC. I've said this before, and I'm going to say this again. I'm not in the LDBC. I operate on my own. I'm affiliated with the LDBC, but I'm not in the LDBC. Those my people, most of them. I speak to them on a regular basis. I speak to some of them, some of the original dudes. I speak to them on a regular basis, but I operate on my own. But the thing is, a lot of people that's affiliated with the LDBC, they come to my channel. That's fine. But I will say this. There is a few people in the LDBC that I don't like, that act like a bunch of bitches. That John Coffey motherfucker, that fake ass nigga. And then it was this other dude, this bitch ass DMV nigga. But I don't believe in saying no names. And at the end of the day, you know who I'm talking about. You don't have to say their names in the comment section, because they know who they is. And like I said before, people got mad at me and got attitudes like some chicks because they wanted me to be a exclusive Errol Spence pom-pom fanboy, and I support and root for who I want to. I root for who I want to. I you know what I'm saying? And I don't really have nobody that I'm aligned with. I just am a fan of boxing. But you have people literally get attitudes like some chicks. And like I said, I don't know where Black Bluto got the idea that somebody was scared of him. But, it is what it is. So, but I'm just going to move on from that. But at the end of the day, just saying. But that's where that thing came from with Homeboy. Dude is a liar. The source was himself. The Zone do not release their streaming numbers or their pay-per-view numbers. Once again, I keep asking this question. Are you going to reveal what the pay-per-view numbers was for this fight? Well, you have to now because I'm basically putting you out there. So you're going to have to you're going to have to reveal what you quote unquote think the pay-per-view numbers is. And you're going to make up a pay-per-view number for this event. And you may say it's lower to cover up your tracks, so you don't come across as looking suspect. which a lot of people think you suspect anyway. But my thing is, why all the concern and why everybody was worried about what Devin Haney's ticket sales was? Why wasn't people talking about how poorly Ryan Garcia's last fight sold? You didn't see nobody talking about, oh, Ryan Garcia's fight wasn't sold out, but you had people lying about Devin Haney's fight. I was there. That place was rocking. I was there. But you got people who wasn't there talking about the fight wasn't sold out, and then Leonard Ellaby was deceptive about what the gate was. And I keep saying this, if the zone was so disappointed in Devin Haney's pay-per-view numbers and his ticket sales, why does Eddie Hearn want to continue to do business with Bill and Devin Haney? Ask yourself this. That's dropping the mic right there. That's proving that, you know, Leonard Ellaby and the dude that basically put out those fake numbers. And then what you had was a bunch of people that follow suit. What you had is a bunch of people that were basically following the trend, following being monkey see, monkey do, just because they wanted to get views depicting and demeaning a black fighter. But then when we call these dudes out, they want to try to play the victim, and they want to try to, you know, come for us and say, hey, we're race baiters and all this stuff. Well, stop cooning. Stop cooning, dude. Stop being a view hoe. Then nobody won't. Listen, man. Let's for real, because I get tired of saying this too. Listen, y'all know me. For anybody that's been following me, y'all know I call it right down the middle. If a black chick is doing some goofy stuff, I'll call her out. If a black dude is doing some goofy stuff, I'll call him out. If black people as a whole doing some stuff, I'll call them out. Y'all know if other people do some stuff, I'll call them out. Because I was constantly on Edgar Miller's helmet about some of his, you know what I'm saying, antics. But as you can see, people didn't show the same energy. But everybody has something to say about, you know, Jonathan Majors. Everybody has something to say about Tory Lanez. I mean, if you a content creator that sit up here, and I'm just going to say this, and I know there's some people listening and they can take it however they want. If you think I'm specifically talking to you, then that's your guilty conscience. But a lot of these dudes built their channels, basically talking about 7A, talking about the LDBC, you know, keeping the LDBC in their videos, constantly titling the LDBC this, the LDBC that. So guess what that makes you? That makes you a cloud chaser. Like I said before, a lot of them dudes in the LDBC is my people, but some of them ain't. But do you see me making videos about the LDBC that, even though I may not agree with some of the things them dudes say or put out, but I'm not constantly building a channel talking about other niggas. Just like you got a couple of dudes out here who has a weird infatuation with Terrence Crawford. I'm not going to say who these dudes is, but it's one dude. If you go on his channel, this dude got like 30 videos talking about Terrence Crawford. Don't say his name in the comment section. If you say his name in the comment section, I'm going to have to block you. At least put you on the timeout. You know who I'm talking about. That's weird. That's what you call clout chasing. I'm like, and then you know who I'm talking about. You know who I'm talking about, Tania. That's weird. Like, I went on this dude, and first of all, I was looking at like, how did his videos end up in my time feed? And then I look at his videos. Then I look at his channel. I say, okay, well, let me see what this dude. This nigga literally got like 30 videos. Every other video is about Terrence Crawford. Obsessed with the man. Then you got these other dudes who built their channel basically talking about the LDBC, calling them race baiters. Well, you a race baiter. Calling somebody else a race baiter. But see, you going in reverse. You're attacking black people to get non-blacks to come on your channel to watch you talk about black people just to get views. So what the fuck does that make you? A coon, a sellout, a handkerchief head. And then when people call you out on that, you get mad. Because that's exactly what you're doing. I'm just putting it out there. You say the LDBC is this and the LDBC is that? Well, why you keep bringing them up? Why you keep titling your videos, oh, the LDBC is this, the LDBC is that? Just say it. Them, I mean, I'm cool with most of them. Do you see me doing that? I never clout chased. I built my channel on my own. People helped me along the way. 7A Ticket TV, a few other people, Too Raw for TV. Yeah, they helped me build my channel along the way, mentioning me and all that kind of stuff. Appreciate the help. But for the most part, I put in the groundwork. So I'm just saying though, but I just wanted to put that out there. You know, I done got off base a little bit, but you know, I just wanted to put that out there though. But getting back to the PBC, yeah, this is what they do. This is their MO. This is their MO. Now they may have a couple of selected black fighters, yeah, to cover up their track. Okay, Tank is that one guy. Floyd has decided that Tank is the one guy. Here's the thing that I always knew. At the same time, Deontay Wilder was a PBC fighter. He was treated like he wasn't a PBC fighter. Because you would see people within the stable hating on Deontay Wilder because at the end of the day, Deontay Wilder spoke his mind and he didn't care what nobody thought about it. Where you had other people like the Charlo brothers, like basically trying to attack him. And then sitting up there sucking up to Mexicans and stuff and didn't get nothing out of it because those Mexican fight fans who don't give a fuck for the most part about black fighters and black people were clowning Jamal Charlo. Now, I'm not saying they're all like that, but I'm saying a vast majority of them are like that. I'm not saying all Mexicans are bad, but let's not play these games about this black and brown alliance that don't exist, because it don't exist. And that's a video for another day. But the Charlo brothers, now they're sort of like on islands of their own. Jamal ain't got nobody really riding with him. He got people from his own circle stabbing him in the back, releasing secret confidential recordings of him speaking, basically trying to incriminate him and stuff. You know, but to a certain degree, the Charlo brothers, they kind of did it to themselves because they were sitting up there. You can make an argument that they, you know, yeah, it's been a very bad year. It's been a very bad year for PBC fighters. But like I said before, Canelo is not a PBC produced fighter. We all know that. He started off with Goldie Boy with the Matchroom. Once again, he is a guest at the PBC. They owe Canelo 2 more fights, and then Canelo could go back to Matchroom. The only PBC fighter, I'm gonna just keep it 100, that I think that could be a rabbit in the hole is, and he almost left. The funny part about it is he almost left, but he got talked in the stand. You know what I'm saying? He got talked in the stand, which that was David Benavidez. I think David Benavidez is the goods. I really do. I think for the most part, I think Ennis is the goods too. Now, is he ready for Terrence Crawford? That remains to be seen. But at the end of the day, Terrence Crawford, it ain't gonna be no big money in him fighting Jerron Boots Ennis. You know, Terrence Crawford is looking for big fights, and you can't knock him for that. So, you know, I'm just saying. But in closing, I just wanted to put this out. I presented the facts. I have the names. If you think I'm lying, go look at their box recs. See how long they didn't had, how much time they didn't had in between fights. See how long they've been sitting on the couch in between fights. And like I said, those are just 4. It's other people too. I'm not including Danny Garcia because Danny Garcia ain't black. It's not black. I'm talking about the brothers. They might not. But at the same time, Al Heyman don't want to sublease his fighters. Al Heyman, to be honest with you, he have the money to where he can finance a lot of these fights himself. But most of these dudes don't want to come out of pocket. But at the same time, they don't want outside people touching it. They basically wanted to use the TV money to finance these fights. But now, due to the fact that they don't have the deal with Showtime, well, you have to see what's going to be the particulars of the Amazon deal, which everybody is waiting for to be released. But anyway, you guys, appreciate you guys being here. Do the research yourself if you don't believe me. I gave you the names. I gave you the dates. This your boy Town. I'm out.